If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to Downfall Network for more cool content.
Howdy there, folks on the YouTube. We are Thralls of Metal, and we are here for another album review. I am your host, Rin.
I am Shredlord.
And I am Necrotic Nick.
And this time, we are reviewing the fourth release by Wheeling, West Virginia's Brimstone Coven.
This band formed in 2011, and this is just straight up doomy, almost rock. Not necessarily metal. Like, it kind of borders on metal.
It goes there at times.
But it's a really awesome project, and one of the main members of the band, Andrew, is also the main guy behind Iron Flame, which is decidedly different than this. More power metal, trad metal. Maideny as hell. And this is another interesting release from Brimstone Coven. This is just, once again, right back to the roots of like 70s rock, except with sort of like an occult darkness to it that just kind of keeps it just a little bit from being too accessible and too much fun. Yeah. Even though it is fun to listen to, especially for us, because we love this sort of thing.
This could be on the radio, but it may be about Satan.
Might be about Satan.
I hope it's about Satan.
If this came out in 1971, I'm pretty sure parents out there were like, no, these guys are, no, they're same with them Black Sabbaths or whatever they are. They're just bad news.
The thing that grabbed me right away on the production was how cool it was to hear the more retro, analog, vintage, but that's kind of always been their sound throughout their career. Once again, this album kind of delivers that same sound, and it is plucked straight out of the doom stoner rock of 1970s, and it's a great listen.
It's straight guitars into straight amps, crank up the overdrive. It's Fuzzy City. Just delish.
Right away, opening track, The Inferno. You get cowbell, which you may not have ordered.
Starts with the cowbell. You can't go wrong.
No. You put your pants on one leg at a time like everybody else, but the only difference is when these pants come on, it's ringing a cowbell.
It's true.
Right away, like, the thing that I got were the vocal harmonies, which just permeate this release. They are very, very good. Reminded me a lot of, like, Cream in terms of, like, just how lush the vocal harmonies were in them. I mean, honestly, you get kind of that mountain sort of feel to it in terms of just, like, it's just raw rock, but there's this, again, like, kind of a
there's
cult
overtones.
atmosphere.
Yeah. Pentagram, Dark Sabbath.
Dark.
Witchfinder General. Like, it's pretty much the next tier of bands that took Black Sabbath sounds like, we like all the darker parts and we're just going to roll with that.
Yep.
And that's a good vibe to roll with. As a guitar player myself, I believe the guitar player's name is Corey. The thing that I appreciate about Corey is, once again, his tone was excellent. Fuzz City, very authentic to that style, very good. And his leads were very simple, yet incredibly melodic. The guy has really good phrasing.
Cut through the mix, too.
Yeah.
The lead tone is great.
Yeah, lead tone is really good. I think we determined probably it was a Sun amp. Just a guess. If you ever watch this video, let me know, Corey, please. But yeah, the guitar tone overall, man, was really nice and fuzzy and very, very authentic to that 70s style. And the leads were perfect fits to each song. What was great about all the leads on this album, and I think we can agree, is they enhanced the song. It didn't just sound like they said, all right, man, this is your time, and you just kind of noodle something
Gotta do
along.
a lead.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Beedly wah. Okay, we're good?
Yep.
Not that. Actually, the song of the Whippoorwill, which that's a bird, I think.
Whipperooski.
The lead on there was a moment in there that actually sounded like David Gilmour, like in terms of like how the phrasing like sort of emoted the feeling behind it.
There was a lot of different guitar tones going on.
Oh,
too.
yeah. I mean, it's just a blaze of stuff. And this is carried by giant riffs. And there really isn't like much of them like stepping outside of those. Like here and there you'll get that, but mostly they find a riff, they stick with it.
Dry hump it.
It
feels
violently.
good.
If it's a good riff, you can dry hump it for a long time.
Yes, you can.
Add a harmony. Maybe a nice little lead melody on top.
Little tail.
Drive it with the bass.
Secrets of the Earth actually opens up with a cool bass line, and you could really hear just how fucking beefy
Yes,
it is,
the intro,
too.
yes.
Love it. It's ominous, and I have to say it kind of reminded me just a little bit of Justin Chancellor's sort of bass lines in Tool. Just a little bit. Not as ornate, but in terms of the tone and the feel. And this whole album is about creating like that cool atmosphere. Like it's doomy occult rock. You know, when you don't want to worship with like, you know, the super heavy, you know, death metal and black metal crowds, like, no, we can just chill with these guys and summon up a really, you know, laid back devil. Maybe have a beer.
Maybe smoke a joint. I don't know.
Smoke a joint with the devil. Maybe he's into that.
Probably.
The other thing I noticed about this album that we haven't really talked about is the levels of aggressiveness, I want to say. So, like, the intro track starts off, it's almost like the execution. All right, that's a better way to explain it. So, when the opening track, it has a very laid-back execution. The drums are very laid back. The bass is very laid back. The vocals are very laid back, and so is the guitar. You can tell that when they're recording this, they're just, you know...
Chill.
They're very chill about it. Then as the album picks up, you know, so does the energy, so does the intensity. So those varying degrees of that was a cool mix for this album.
So the album's kind of half and half of slower tempo, heavy, just heavy. Not guitar tone or just aggressiveness, but just a heavy vibe. And half of the other songs are up-tempo, not happy, but
High energy.
high energy. And it kind of goes back and forth, which is a good mix. The song The Darker Half is pretty up-tempo. It's almost kind of Kiss-like at certain points. And then it gets almost psychedelic towards the bridge part, and a little bit of Thin Lizzy type twin leads going on. It's right in the middle of the album, and it just, oh, neat that they're doing this now. That's as badass as the slow heavy stuff.
Yeah, because sometimes you get that where they start off one way and it stays that way through the entire album. They kept adding things as the album went on.
And you need a nice little break in them because, I mean, the track before it, Live with a Ghost, is about as somber as it gets.
Yeah.
And this is one where the other vocalist takes over because mostly it's Andrew doing a lot of the vocals. This guy has a different voice, like, altogether. Like, Andrew's definitely more of a higher register. This guy has, like, kind of that flat but melodic tone. Like, he really reminded me of Jerry Cantrell a little bit, just in terms of his delivery.
Degradation Trip.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like, very, very somber, and he kind of complimented the song really well. Like, 'cause this feels very Volume 4-ish. We all pretty much came to that little lightning strike.
I came to
in our
that
brain.
conclusion
Yeah, I was
first.
writing it down as you were about to say it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, it has that kind of, like, it's personal, but it's dark, and it just kind of feels chill, but heavy, and again, in that different sense, like weight of like emotion or whatever, like whatever they were going through for this.
The definition of heavy. The weight of heavy, not like, oh, but, I gotta climb this mountain, and boy, it's gonna suck.
Every step.
I would pay someone to fly me to the top. Because didn't you see that guy? Didn't he have to fucking amputate his own leg or some shit like that? Just to survive? Yeah. Fuck that. Someone
Wait,
could
did he
take
eat
me
it?
up.
He could
Maybe for nutrition to survive. I don't know.
I feel it's kind of messed up I asked that question. Now, on here, there are also 2 re-recordings of songs that were on their first album, simply the self-titled one, which came out on Metal Blade back in 2014. And I have to say, I really like what they did. We have Folly of Faust and Children of the Sun. And back then they had a different vocalist, a very, very tall gentleman whose name I don't remember, but I did meet him, and he was very tall. But he was also a really good singer, but in this one, on that album in particular, they kind of drenched all the vocals in reverb. They definitely wanted that psychedelic, you know, feel from the 70s, and maybe went a little overboard on it. The vocals are cleaner. I think the harmonies are way more pronounced. And
the vocals are way stronger, more sustained.
Yeah.
The notes are held out longer. The vocal line is more, yep, this is the vocal line. I'm doing it now.
fuller production,
Yes, yes, fuller production, cleaner sound, but still with a retro feel.
too. Oh, yeah.
Definitely an upgrade in my mind.
Yeah.
As far as the original recordings, they're good, but I think they took them, gave them a little polish, and they came out really good, and they were a great addition to end this album with.
And if you got a good tune that wasn't recorded as good as it could have been, what the hell?
You owe it to the tune.
Do it again. It's 2020. There are no rules.
We threw every rule out.
So let's get down to the ranking, gentlemen, shall we? I will kick us off. This album to me was a very fun listen. This is something that I could get into an altered state of mind with and cruise down in my car on a long trip and blast the fuck out of this and bob my head the entire time. Just like that. I got to give it a 4 out of 5. I definitely will check this out a few more times, probably in the next week or so. And yeah, I'm sure it'll kind of keep growing and growing and growing, just like something else on me.
I'm a fan of this band. I would own a shirt. I own a shirt.
How did that get there?
I've seen these guys. I've met these guys. Awesome
They're good
dudes. Good dudes. And they jam. They're a 3-piece. Good, goddamn. Good. Jam. Hard. Their catalog is pretty good. 4 albums. Not a bad listen. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 4 out of 5 as well. And I recommend it with all the beer in the cooler.
It's a lot of beer if you know this guy's cooler.
I'm a huge fan of retro rock, stoner metal, all that stuff. Like, I've been listening to that since I was a teen, and these guys really just capture a cool mood, and it's very much to like the core of it. They get back to the whole Black Sabbath feel, and even those proto doom bands like Pentagram and Witchfinder General. Excellent songs carried by awesome vocal
Great
hooks.
vocals.
Like, there are legit
vocals.
tons of hooks in this. And I just love the stripped down meat and potatoes feel, but you also still get that kind of like 70s scary vibe. Like, not now vibe. Our scary is totally, well, scarier.
Different.
And they're tight.
It's just tight. It's well written, loaded with hooks, and I gotta give it 4 stars as well. I will definitely be returning to this band more, and I need to actually get another one of their albums because I only have 3 now. So,
You piece of shit.
I know, I've disappointed
Dirty bird.
everyone,
Dirty bird.
right? Did I disappoint everyone? I kind of want to make sure to get everyone
Yeah.
all at once. Okay, good. Cool. All right, who wants to take us out? Me or you or him?
Ryan, take us
Okay.
out.
Sure. You like the review?
Yeah.
All that kind of
So
stuff?
like review, get thumbs up. And
Yeah. Okay. So, if you like this album, go out and buy it wherever you buy things. And if you like this review, go ahead and review it wherever you review things,
In your review room.
which is YouTube. Go to YouTube. You're probably already here. Like the video.
Please.
Subscribe to the station. If you would be so kind. This is a year about caring for one another. Care for us as we care for you, because we give you things like this whenever we can, and we can do it quite often. So, thank you. Hail.
Hail Stan.